So I got this grill from work for free, and so what I plan on doing is I already cut out all the stuff that they had in there for vents in the bottom. It was kind of a weird setup with channels made out of angle iron that had flat bar underneath, and they could slide back and forth to let the air in and out. And they just got built up with ash that they wouldn't slide very good. So I took those out, and I'm going to put vents in the ends down there where I kind of got drawn out with soapstone on both ends. And I'm also going to cut in and put a raising mechanism so I can raise and lower the grill grate real easy, which that'll allow me to be able to add fuel while grilling. So that'll be kind of neat, and also it'll allow me to raise the grill up and clean out after. So that and I'll be able to swipe the ash and stuff out the ends where my vents will be. So I've already got the old stuff tore out, and now I'm basically just building up what I want it to be with the new stuff. So now I cut these 4 pieces of square tubing, 1-inch square tubing, that I'll put here on the ends. I'll weld them in where the ends of the fire brick will go. 2 on each side, and there'll be guides for my lift mechanism. So that's where those will go up. I'll cut some holes down in there for the 5/8 bar that I have, and weld these square tubings over top of those holes, and there'll be guides for the lift mechanism. So I got the square tubing welded in both sides, and and I got the square bar in this one hole, just sitting in there for now. And that's how it's going to slide up and down, is on bar that goes through each piece of square tubing. So I worked on the grill a little bit, and I made these pieces that do the sliding up and down through those holes. So I cut this flat bar out and drilled some holes in it, 3 holes in it, and welded it to those 2 pieces of square stock. and it slides perfectly down through the holes. And so now the grill grate has to be bolted to those in order for the grill grate to stay centered and where it has to be. So now I'm going to work on cutting some stainless to weld to the stainless grill grate to hold the grill grate to those slides. Alright, so I cut out these stainless pieces and drilled the holes in it, and they will set right on top of the brackets I made. And then I'll locate them and weld them to the grill grate, and that's how the grill grate will fasten to the raising mechanism. Alright, so I got the grill grate mounted. I got the brackets welded in, and the grill grate is mounted, slid inside of the grill, and I got the bars hanging out the bottom there, and the jacks are there. And I've got some more pieces here. So these pieces I'm going to make a bracket to hold the bottom of the square bars that hang out the bottom of the grill, slide inside of these holes and sit on top of the jack, which will push the grill grate up. So now I've got my brackets made up that'll go on the bottom of these square bars down here, like that, and that's where the jack will push against, like that. So I'll mount those on there. Maybe I'll use that hole. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'll mount those on there, and that's what'll push this whole thing up. I'll have a jack on either side. These half rounds I've got here, I'm going to weld down there on that bottom shelf, and that'll hold. That's where the jacks will sit, is on there. So I got this propped up, and I'm going to start making, or I'll clean these up and I'll start mounting these to that bottom shelf. Alright, so on the grill I decided to not use the jacks because they were bulky and they would have took U-joints and stuff. They would have took up space. So instead I decided to go with all thread and some gears and chain to drive the grill grate up and to pull it down. And to do that, all I needed was some gears, some chain, and some all thread. And I'll show you what I have to do to put it together. So with these gears and this all thread and these pieces that I already welded up, and some bolts, I'm going to put I'm going to weld some nuts on the inside here and make it so I can lock these on the all thread, or on the square bar. And I'm going to cut this, because I changed my plan. I'm going to cut this and weld washers on here to accept the all thread, and some nuts that'll go on the threads, and it'll go move up and down. And the all thread will actually remain stationary. It'll just turn and it'll just drive that up and down. So I got my gears welded, and I've got those little half rounds welded in and a hole burnt in the middle of them, and I've made the parts that'll go up and down on the threaded rod welded up and ready to go. So now I'm going to cut my threaded rod and get that prepared, and work on a bracket for the top end for the to hold the the threaded rod and the nuts at the top end. So now I'm working on getting the chain lined up underneath there and figuring out how long I needed it. And then I'll cut it, and I also have to put that other gear under there somewhere, so figuring out the chain and that other gear, and then should be operable. I got the gears and the chain all hooked up and ready, and gave it a try, and it turns out that it's really hard to turn and really slow. I figured it'd be both of those. I didn't think it'd be as hard as it is to turn. But so I've got some ideas on how I can make it go up and down a little bit faster, better. And I'm going to have to think about that and see what I can come up with. So here I've got the lift mechanism all put together, and I made some improvements. It's really slow, but what I think I'll do to make it faster is I'll get a impact wrench for it, so you can see how it all works. And so that I turn this main gear here, and the chain goes round, and it turns the other two gears, and then it pushes those bars up through. So now I've just got to put all my brick in there and give this thing a try with an impact wrench.